Ready? Since the day one, the people change, the team change, the opponent change, and you have to change as well.
I know who you are as a player. I know who you are as a team.
We are not the same for the day one, but that is the secret. When I arrived, my first interview was with Noel Gallagher.
Welcome to Manchester.
Thank you so much.
I woke out thinking, okay, Noel is here, this will be fun.
When Pep Guardiola arrived at Manchester City in 2016, football believed he was coming to conquer England. The genius from Barcelona, the revolutionary from Bayern Munich, the perfectionist who changed football forever. But nobody knew. Manchester City would eventually change him too.
Last season we was in the Premier League, one of the worst defeats of worst performance. I think expressed that game, start everything like we lost for the 9 years.
Back then, Pep Guardiola looked different. More energy, more fire, more belief. He came to Manchester with one mission: to build the greatest football machine England had ever seen. Manchester City were already successful before Pep arrived. They had money. They had stars. They had Premier League titles. But they still wanted something bigger. Respect. Dominance. Football immortality. To many people, City were still the rich club trying to buy history. And Pep Guardiola was brought in to change that forever. But England hit Pep Guardiola harder than expected. The Premier League was faster, more physical, more chaotic. For the first time in years, Pep looked vulnerable. People questioned his tactics, questioned his philosophy. Some even said Pep Guardiola had been exposed. That was the moment everything changed. Because Pep Guardiola does not respond to failure like normal people. Failure consumes him. He became obsessed. Every pass mattered. Every movement mattered.
In his late 90s, 100 points. I think you'd have to say Pep Guardiola is probably the greatest manager we've ever seen in the Premier League.
Every mistake irritated him. Manchester City stopped being just a football club and became Pep Guardiola's personal experiment. Then suddenly, England couldn't stop them anymore. Manchester City became unstoppable. 100 points. Record-breaking football. Total domination. Pep Guardiola had rebuilt English football in his own image. But something strange started happening. The more Manchester City won, the more intense Pep Guardiola became. Winning once was never enough. Pep demanded perfection every single week. And the pressure inside Manchester City became relentless. Because despite all the dominance, one thing still haunted him: the Champions League. Every elimination hurt more than the last. Lyon, Tottenham, Real Madrid. Each defeat made Pep Guardiola look older. To the outside world, Manchester City looked perfect. But behind the trophies, behind the dominance, Pep Guardiola was slowly carrying more pressure than ever before. And after years of chasing perfection, football was beginning to take something from him too.
Is that the goal that wins their 4th title in 5 years?
When you win a lot, it's impossible to do it without the support of your hierarchy.
Then finally, Pep Guardiola completed football. The treble. The one achievement Manchester City had spent years dreaming about. It should have been the happiest moment of his career. Instead, Pep Guardiola almost looked exhausted. Because success changes people. And nobody understands that better than Pep Guardiola. For almost 10 years, he carried Manchester City on his shoulders. Every season came with impossible expectations. Win the league. Win Europe. Break records again. Stay perfect forever. And slowly, football started consuming him. The touchline anger became worse. The pressure became heavier. Even victories no longer looked satisfying. Because when you build a dynasty, eventually the dynasty begins to own you. Look at Pep Guardiola in 2016. Then look at him now. The energy feels different. The eyes look tired. The emotions look heavier. Almost like 10 years at Manchester City aged him faster than football should. Now for the first time, people are starting to ask questions. Is Pep Guardiola nearing the end? Has the pressure finally become too much? Or is this simply what happens when greatness lasts too long? Maybe the greatest managers don't leave football because they fail. Maybe they leave because football eventually takes everything from them. And after 10 unforgettable years, maybe Manchester City took more from Pep Guardiola than anyone ever realised.